Once upon a time, in the land of Canaan, there lived a man named Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons, and among them was his favorite, Joseph. Jacob loved Joseph dearly and showered him with a beautiful robe of many colors, which further fueled the jealousy of his other sons. One night, Joseph had a dream that he shared with his brothers. In his dream, he saw them binding sheaves of grain in the field, when suddenly his sheaf rose and stood upright, while their sheaves gathered around and bowed down to his. Enraged by the dream and their jealousy, Joseph's brothers became filled with resentment towards him. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers who were tending their flocks in a distant land. As soon as they saw Joseph approaching, the brothers plotted to get rid of him once and for all. They seized him and stripped him of his robe of many colors. Then they threw him into an empty cistern, intending to leave him there to perish. However, before they could carry out their plan, a group of traders passed by on their way to Egypt. Joseph's brothers saw an opportunity to profit from his misfortune, so they sold him to the traders as a slave. Joseph was taken away from his homeland, his family, and everything he knew, bound for a foreign land. In Egypt, Joseph was bought by a high-ranking Egyptian named Potiphar, the captain of Pharaoh's guard. Despite his circumstances, Joseph remained steadfast in his faith and worked diligently. God blessed everything Joseph did, and he soon gained favor in Potiphar's eyes. Recognizing Joseph's wisdom and integrity, Potiphar made him the overseer of his entire household. But just when it seemed that Joseph's life was improving, a new trial arose. Potiphar's wife, captivated by Joseph's handsome appearance, tried to seduce him. Yet, Joseph remained faithful to God and refused her advances. Frustrated and angered by his rejection, Potiphar's wife falsely accused Joseph of wrongdoing, leading to his unjust imprisonment. Even in prison, Joseph's faith did not waver. The prison warden noticed Joseph's exceptional character and made him responsible for overseeing the other prisoners. Joseph used his God-given gift of interpreting dreams to help two fellow prisoners, Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, who had troubling dreams while in custody. Years passed, and Pharaoh himself had a perplexing dream that troubled him greatly. None of his wise men or magicians could interpret it. It was then that the cupbearer remembered Joseph's ability to interpret dreams. He told Pharaoh about Joseph, who was quickly summoned from the prison. Joseph stood before Pharaoh, who described his dream, a vision of 7 fat cows being devoured by 7 gaunt cows, and 7 plump ears of grain consumed by 7 withered ears. Joseph, guided by God's wisdom, revealed that the dream foretold 7 years of abundant harvests, followed by 7 years of severe famine. Impressed by Joseph's interpretation, Pharaoh recognized his wisdom and appointed him as the second in command over all of Egypt, placing him in charge of managing the country's resources during the coming years of plenty and famine. Under Joseph's leadership, Egypt prepared for the approaching famine by storing surplus grain during the prosperous years. When the famine finally struck the region, Egypt was the only land with an abundance of food. News of Egypt's provisions reached Joseph's homeland, where his brothers and father, Jacob, were suffering from the effects of the famine. Hearing that grain could be obtained in Egypt, Jacob sent his sons to buy food. Unbeknownst to them, they stood before Joseph, who had become a powerful ruler. Joseph recognized his brothers